Pride Month. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
What does Pride Month mean to you personally, and how has your relationship with it evolved over the years, Miss Fluid?
I mean, I've always been into Pride. I think it's a way to, for people to be seen and to express themselves and to be very open about who they are with no shame, and love and acceptance.
Love wins.
Yeah.
Love wins.
And joy. Just like exuding joy
Yeah.
in who you are.
Some people, I'm sorry, I didn't cut you off.
No.
Some people feel like it's being shoved down our throats. How do you feel about that?
I think, again, it's like, we choose what we expose ourselves to, So if maybe people need to, I don't know where and how people are feeling as though it's being shoved down their throats, but maybe they need to shift the route that they're taking if they're not comfortable with that.
I wonder what's being shoved
I'm so
down their
down with
throats.
it. I'm like, bring it. You know what I mean? So I'm not, it makes me happy. Like, it brings joy in my life. So.
There has been like viral posts on Facebook or on social media where it's like they'll have Pride days in the schools and whatnot, and I feel like that's where, quote unquote, the backlash I've seen comes from and whatnot. What do you think about that? Pride in the schools, what do you think? As far as like rainbow flags, rainbow shirts, rainbow face paint, the whole nine, just Pride parade in the schools with the kiddies.
And that being like, there's an expectation for everybody to follow suit with that type of dress code, or is it just kind of open for whoever wants to express themselves accordingly, but for those who don't want to, they don't have to? Like, is there pressure? Are kids feeling pressure around
type
it?
Of deal. Like in Spirit Week, where it's like pajama day, where you wear pajamas.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you don't have to wear pajamas.
Right.
I mean,
but most kids wear pajamas.
Yeah, you're not getting
We've come
written up if you don't.
a long way from when I was a kid. Like,
Oh my
I
gosh.
just remember, like, there would be kids that were homosexual, and they were like, everyone would just like make fun of them, and they were like the brunt of everyone's aggression. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And those people needed to like be like, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, this is okay. What I'm like.
Yeah.
And I think that that's important, and like just like shining that light is like, there's been so much oppression over homosexuality for like a lot of humanity, and we're at this moment where I think with the growth of technology and communication and people like having like being like, no, this is who I am.
Right.
Like, people need, there's a lot of like stuff coming up of the people that have been oppressed for generations and generations and generations, and now they can finally come up. So of course there's going to be like this like, woo, like this like huge
rainbow
of it, and people are like, fucking rainbow. But some people might feel that way, but like,
Who doesn't want to see a rainbow?
I know, right? I think it's really important for people to express themselves and to be
accepted.
Yeah, and to be their authentic selves.
I think that makes sense. That and the transgender community, because I feel like what you said about someone that was homosexual and whatnot, the same could be said about someone that was could be classified as transgender or identified as transgender. Like, especially when I was coming up and whatnot, like there's a kid that I could think of that was the brunt of everyone's joke because they were like cross-dressing or whatever the correct term is. So how do you feel about the people that feel negative towards they feel like their kids are being subjected to that type of sexual orientation?
I think it's a paradigm shift. So there's like
what's that?
A paradigm is like a whole way of being.
Okay.
And when there's a paradigm shift, it's like a new way of thinking.
Yeah.
And so the people that are thinking in the old way,
yeah,
they like have a really hard time looking at a new paradigm. They're like, doesn't make sense. I don't get it.
Change.
Right.
Change can be challenging for humans.
Okay. So what would you say to someone like that? Like, that's having trouble?
I think that they need to like take some ayahuasca, look at their inner demons, do some inner work.
Okay.
Vomit it up.
I like it. So you don't see a problem with it? Obviously not.
No.
Gotcha. Wow.
I think if there's anything that's being exposed to others that resonates with them, then it's going to support a part of themselves that maybe wants to emerge. But for those who are not feeling connected or any sort of resonance with any representation that happens within the LGBTQ plus community, then they'll continue to cultivate their own unique self-expression and individuality in the way that they will, you know? So I think there's a lot of fear out there that if there's exposure, that means like my child will become the very thing that maybe I'm afraid for my child to be. But it's like, you know, can you just make someone be something that they're not? Like, I mean, that's a whole nother discussion. I guess people can be very influenced, but I think internally, and I mean, if there's anybody that you've ever connected with who's come out, right? They'll tell you, listen, I had those feelings, I had those thoughts, those belief systems, that identity, that orientation, whatever it may be, like way before I came out, right? Like that was there way longer than that coming out process. So I don't know. I believe in like free expression of self. And so there's a lot that we're exposed to in this world that we don't necessarily want to be exposed to, but it doesn't mean that we have to go around telling everybody that they can't be who they are or express themselves in the way that they want to.
I'm thinking in terms of kids, because I've been a music teacher also for many years and teaching kids music. And at one point I was like, so you just heard my whole perspective on that. Like, I'm like pro everyone expressing themselves. But there is something that does happen where kids start to like try to follow other kids that are like what the popular mode is, or a fad or something. Right. So there were things where like I would witness like kids just being like, oh no, like I'm trans now, when they weren't, or they were like, or then they would, it was really a mode of like getting attention. Like they would be like, you can't call me she anymore. Yeah, that's definitely annoying. And then they would like,
because there's a they them.
And then if you forgot as their teacher, because you've like been teaching them since they were a little kid, and you're like, oh, where'd she go? And then they're like, oh, you can't say that anymore. And then like the kids would have this whole drama about it, and it's like, I'm also a human being, and I'm sorry. I don't know.
I wasn't gonna go there because it's like that's another conversation. But I'm glad that you did, honestly, because that makes it also difficult for when they are kids and then want to say like, oh, I'm not a boy, I'm a girl, or I'm a girl, I'm not a girl, I'm a they, so it's like, how do you?
Which is also like, you need to like accept yourself.
More. Yeah.
Like, as a child, like learning, like, I mean, kids can like beat each other down, and like then they feel like, oh, I need to be something different than what I am. I think that can be unhealthy if they're like not loving themselves and wanting to be something that they're not, because they think no one can love who they really are.
Right. How do you, so like, I don't know how to phrase this question I want to ask, but like, how old do you think someone should be before they can make that decision for themselves?
I don't know.
I think it's right. Yeah, I just think it's so individualized, you know?
Like 6 and 8 are like, I would think is too freaking young, in my opinion. Like, because like, you don't know shit. You're like, because you're like first grade, when you're 6, you're in first grade. When you're 8, you're in third grade. So it's like, I feel like that's a little too early.
I think there's a difference between kind of, how one identifies themselves versus someone taking those next steps to have surgery and hormone replacement and, all the different ways in which people can kind of transform themselves beyond a name or beyond a label or an identity of some kind. So I think there's a big distinction between those, and I think it is really helpful to, seek support. That's always my spiel, right? It's like, get professional support. But, to receive the support that's necessary so that you can start to understand a little bit further what's happening internally, and to work with also supportive agencies that have a lot of experience of helping people through this journey. And then I think as adults, it's important to recognize too, brain development in minors, because there's a lot that can shift. I mean, as a mother to a 22-year-old who I remember very well going through adolescence, I mean, he became a very different human when he hit, honestly, it was more like 17, 18 versus when he was 15 and 16. And it was a 180, literally, in just a year. It was a 180.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think
why
human
shouldn't I say
beings
that?
Go through like,
Because I'm scared.
but there's like a lot
It
of
was a whole
changes,
different world, you know what I mean? We got through it, you know, and I love that boy more than anything.
That's good.
Yeah, my heart. But man, I had to remember that, like, we will get through this.
Yeah.
And we did, and what a change. So I think of some of the parents that might be going through their children, you know, having that experience of maybe identifying as something different than the sex they were born into. And just, you know, recognizing that there potentially can be some major changes, you know, as our brain is developing for years beyond adulthood, even young adulthood.
Always, I think we can always change our identities in some ways. We're always changing. Everybody's always changing.
We got
But
a comment.
it's such a controversial
Oh, yeah, what's
topic,
the
right?
comment?
In our
Comment
society.
said, I'm sorry, Molly's comment said she's cooking you out here getting free therapy sessions. I don't know what that was in reference to, but I'll take it.
Anytime.
I mean, this was about me, but I'll take it. So how do you guys feel about the new, because that's even Pride Month is a new concept and whatnot. So it's like how do you guys feel about the national this day month, this month is this month, like all these different new national celebratory occasions?
I think it's cool. I think America is a melting pot. We're a melting pot of many, many different faces. E pluribus unum, out of many one. That's what we're supposed to be.
Right.
So like, yes, celebrate all the amazing diversity that exists here.
That's a good way to look at it. I like that.
I think it's important also as we evolve as a culture and as a society to identify, you know, when there needs to be maybe a shift to offer something new to the table that's different than how it's been based on what we know now, right? Like Indigenous Peoples Day, for example, is a great example of that. I mean, Pride's been around for a while, but
What's
yeah,
a while?
we I don't know the actual.
No, I'm not saying like specifics, because I feel like
start.
it's kind of it might be around like 10 years maybe.
I think more than that.
Because like here's my thing is that
We can
like,
Google it.
Because now it's also Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I just feel like
Oh
that's
yeah, that was
weird.
another
June
topic.
is?
Yeah, they both are. So it's like I feel like that's kind of like, I mean, it doesn't have to be, but I feel like it's hard for me to like
Wrap your brain around
Yeah.
pride and men's mental health.
just for it to be 1 month is the same. Like that's not. I mean, I guess that's I'm used to the traditional sense of June was just June, but like now that I'm now wrapping my head around it being Pride Month, and now it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month.
Juneteenth too.
Juneteenth. There's just
Yeah.
so many new things.
There's
the
a lot
big
of
one.
things.
Yeah.
National Donut Day. There's a
All
national.
When's- things
When's
should
the
be
pizza
celebrated.
day? Because I want to go to that day.
That's like every Friday for me.
Every Friday is National Pizza Day. Amazing.
Men's mental health.
It's like-
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Well, I was going to say really
Yeah.
quick though too. Sometimes it's a lot to keep up with, right?
Men's mental health.
Yes, that's not what I was referring to. I'm just kidding. No, just all the holidays, you know, all the little celebrations. It's like sometimes I'll look at my phone. I'm like, oh, my little calendar is like, it's blah, blah, blah day. I'm like, let's learn about it, you know? But sometimes
just
it's a
embrace
little oversaturated. My prayer, my wish for like our planet, let's just say, we'll make it planetary, is for people to just live with a lot more gratitude for others, where we can just feel that gratitude every day for humans and for all the diversity and all that people go through in this life, that we don't necessarily have to have a day in order to recognize it. But I do think there can be beauty in the celebration of these different holidays if people aren't feeling it outside of that, I guess.
Hey, if you guys like this video, make sure you check out these videos where we talk more about music, dating, and real life situations. Thank you for supporting the podcast. Make sure you check out these videos and make sure you subscribe. Peace.